Now be honest with me. What do you see? Is the glass cup halfway full or halfway empty? Perspective changes everything about how you would see life. Now, we ought to be thoughtful and mindful of differences of opinion. And just because you're right doesn't mean that the other person is wrong. But what if you constantly live your life with a negative perspective? What do you think will happen? Have you ever heard someone say, well, I'm just being realistic? Sure. And so am I. You don't want to miss out on today's story and another key to untapping your potential. Welcome to Untapping Your Potential, where we will share with you motivational stories that will keep you growing and inspire you to take action. In the early 20th century, two competing shoe companies were looking to expand their business, as both were suffering from a decline in sales. They each wanted to try new markets, and as a result, they each called up their top salesmen. The director met with their respective salesmen and explained the company's current situation. They were charged and directed to go to Africa and see for themselves if the company can open their market there and increase their sales. Both salesmen were eager to go and report back on their findings. They both left by boat, each to scout out and survey the potential. When the first salesman arrived, he was received with open arms. The people in the small town were warm and loving and were excited to have a visitor. As he went to his hotel, curious, he noticed that no one was wearing any shoes. Thinking, maybe it's just a custom, he ignored it at first. And as he went out that night, he couldn't help but notice that still no one would wear any shoes. And this same custom continued for the remaining 3 days he was there. He would walk around the neighborhood, visit the local market, and to his surprise, he couldn't even find a shoe store. He summarized everything he saw in his notepad, and he headed back to the company to give them a full report. The second shoe salesman arrived a little later in the same town. He too enjoyed the warm hospitality of the town. He was also just as curious that no one was wearing any shoes his first day. He also noticed that he was the only one wearing any shoes at all. And the villagers were surprised at his foot covering, so they called it. He walked the entire town, visited other villages, explored all the markets, and to his surprise, he also could not find any shoe store. He jotted down everything he saw and left to report back to his company. The first salesman met with the board and said, "I'm sorry, but there is no market in Africa. No one, and I mean no one, wears any shoes down there. It is so bad, there aren't even any shoe stores. It would be a complete waste of time, money, and effort to try to open a market in Africa." The second shoe salesman went ahead and reported back to his company and board. And he said, "You won't believe it. No one, and I mean literally no one, wears any shoes in Africa. There aren't even any shoe stores down there. There is nothing but opportunity. We can open up a first store and sell shoes to that entire town." He requested to take with him all of their entire stock and inventory. And when he went down to that same village, he opened a store and he sold every shoe, not only to the entire town, but all of the neighboring villages. This salesman became very successful and found opportunities in life everywhere he went, because he understood that our attitude towards life determines life's attitude towards us. John Mitchell. The first salesman didn't have eyes to see and only saw impossibility. Meanwhile, the second salesman had a vision and saw great opportunity. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Every obstacle or challenge should be seen as an opportunity. Quite frankly, if you focus on the negative, guess what you're going to get? The negative. But if you start to focus on the positive, what do you think your brain will start to do? That's right. Focus on the positive. Research has shown that positive thinking is good for the immune system, reduces anxiety, and increases positive emotions such as happiness. It sparks positive emotions as well, such as joy, interest, contentment, confidence, and love. In fact, people who are more positive may be better protected against the damaging trait of stress. Oh, we know stress very well, don't we? But when you start to think positive and be hopeful, haven't you realized you actually make better health and life decisions and focus more on the long term? Now look, there is still more research on the scientific reason on positive thinking. But what is crystal clear is that there is definitely a strong link between positivity and health. So I encourage you to start looking at the positive in people, the positive in your employees, your team, and more importantly, in your life. And by doing this, you will start to get rid of that burden on your shoulders from the everyday stress of work, from the everyday stress of life. And you will wake up with a fresh new perspective and start to share that positive energy towards others. So, let me ask you again. Is this cup halfway empty? Or is this cup halfway full? Thanks for watching this video. How would you like to hear more motivational stories on a consistent basis? Do me a favor and support the channel by sharing, commenting below, and please make sure to like and hit that subscribe button to get the latest updates. Soon, you will be on your way to feeling inspired.